Hey friends, I'm back from New York City Comic Con and I'm going to show you what my room looks like right now because it is a bit of a disaster. So let's take a peek. Oh my goodness, guys, my room is a mess. It's just a disaster. Oh, so much stuff to organize, so much stuff to do. It is a lot. It is Indigenous People Day, so I have the day off, so I'm going to try to organize my life. I want to get some reading done today. So yeah, that is the plan. But right now, I have to get my room in order. I have to organize. I'm going to do a bit of an unhaul, which always happens when I come back from a convention, and I have a lot of books I don't plan on reading anytime soon. So that is the first plan, an unhaul, then to organize my new books, then to film a little bit. So we got a lot to do, so I better get moving. So I'll talk to you guys when I can. Bye, friends. Hey friends, I'm back. It is Tuesday and I just want to do a little bit of a reading update. We are back to work. We are not at Comic-Con anymore, but I am still making my way through some Comic-Con related books, so I wanted to share. So let's take a sneak peek. I am currently reading Nightbirds by KJ Armstrong. I'm really loving this book. I'm about 70 pages into it. Really loving it. It's a magical setting. Set in like a 1920s-esque society. And right now we have 3 characters and we're just really learning about who these characters are. And I'm loving it. I'm just loving the world. Kate does a really good job of like including historical elements to her story, but still with a magic twist. There's 3 main characters that I'm also really liking. There's a lot of diversity weaved into the story. It's great. I'm loving it. It's exactly what the podcast promised me. So I'm going to get back to reading in a little bit. I am trying to listen to an audiobook, but I'm having limited success. So hopefully tomorrow I can find an audiobook that I'm liking. Again, I spent a week listening to podcasts, and I think that's just messed with my focusing brain. But I am really liking Nightbirds. It's great. I'm about 70 pages in. When I get around about to page 100, I will give you guys another solid update. But drama is afoot, and I'm really liking it. And I'll talk to you guys for an update soon. Bye, friends. It's like much later. It's like almost 3 o'clock. I just literally spent the whole day organizing and planning. I am actually going to sit down and I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to read a little bit of Nightbirds because that's what I wanted to do all day. And I finally have a little bit of time, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go read about 50 pages and then we're going to chat about it. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this book. I've been hearing about it for so long because I follow Kate and Amy's podcast Pub Dates, which I will try to link in the comments if I can remember. Comes out every 2 weeks and they sort of deep dive into their stories and they give you a lot of background information. So I feel like I'm an expert going into this novel. I feel like I have a bunch of information and I'm really excited to read it. So yeah, I'm going to go read about 50 pages and then we'll chat and then we'll check in. Bye friends. I'm back. I just want to do a quick update. I'm just too lazy to break out my vlogging camera. But I did want to say that I did wind up getting up to page 200 in Nightbirds by KJ Armstrong. Really enjoying it. Like, this is such a rich world. So many characters. I will say that. Like, there's 3 main characters and there's a bunch of side characters that I feel like really do get developed point of views. It also is a very, like, politically motivated story with a lot of different elements. And there's a lot of different elements that I think may become prevalent in future books. So this is very much like a foundational read. I love the 1920 vibes. I love the focus on the girls. The girls are so different. Um, there is the potentiality of a lot of different romance elements, which I'm also really enjoying. And there's also the elements of like privilege being addressed. And you don't really see that a lot. Sometimes see it in contemporary YAs, but I don't see it a lot in like adult, like YA fantasy. So I like that conversation quite a bit. I really just like her writing style. She also sort of has elements to her story where, like, after every chapter, she sort of has something that sort of expands her world a little bit. It actually sort of reminds me of how Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff write because they do something very, very similar. Also, I read a book recently. I read The Agathas, which is in my previous reading blog that I read that had a very, very similar element. And I like elements like that because I think it just expands your world and gives you more context. But I really love it in like a fantasy world because that stuff tends to build the world, and I'm really, really liking it. First books are really, really important. So yeah, my goal is to read another 50 pages and give you guys a check-in. My puppy's not feeling well. She's been sick all day, which is so sad. So she's in her cage. Hopefully she's getting some rest. But yeah, I'm gonna go read for a little bit more. I have so many YouTube videos to catch up on. This week did not go the way I wanted to. Just like I felt like I was always behind. That happens when I come back from a vacation, and then we started like with one day off. So just a lot of stuff to do this week, but hopefully a weekend coming up, hopefully I can get myself in order. That is the plan. But I'm gonna go read a little bit more, watch a little bit of YouTube. I'll check in with you guys when I can. Bye, friends. This week has just not been the best for me vlogging. It just hasn't worked out the way that I wanted it to, but that's okay. I am still reading Nightbirds. I was really distracted yesterday when I came home. I got some news that I was sort of not expecting. Well, I guess I was expecting it and I wasn't expecting it. But we are going to do, I think we're going to do a show this year. And I was expecting that news, but I also wasn't expecting it. So that sort of set my mind on a little bit of a tailspin yesterday. But I just have to sort of make decisions in that regards. And I have to do it relatively soon. But I also have a lot of stuff I have to do this week. And I have to catch up on a lot of stuff. I'm going to vlog as well. So you guys are going to take that journey with me. And I'm going to try to get some work done before I'm going to go to yoga today. I have to run a couple of errands because I literally haven't done anything all week. Like, I've just literally been, like, bouncing around from work to home, and I haven't really accomplished a whole lot. Audiobook listening has not happened this week either. I'm still in the middle of reading Nightbirds. I'm also eagerly awaiting a boss battle for the Avengers Reading Challenge. And no, I might have to drop Nightbirds, which is, by the way, right here. So I'm on page 264 of Nightbirds right now. I really am enjoying it. It's quite a read, like 244. I'm really liking it. I think that this book is definitely, you could tell this author is very good at writing. Like, I'm just captivated from page 1. It's a very rich and lush world, which I love. It's been a bit since I read a fantasy. I've been struggling a little bit with my reading life recently, so I'm excited to have an escape in this world. It's just a fun read, one that I'm really enjoying. I'm really going to take today and sort of focus on this but after I get my work done. But yeah, that is the plan today, is just to relax. I have to, like, film a couple of things. I want to film a video for you guys. Actually, a couple of videos. I want to film a little bit today and get that done. I also have off next week, a day randomly, because I'm going to an event. So I took the day, so I'm not going to be tired at work, which will be really nice. So yeah, I also have to start Christmas crafting. There's a lot of stuff I gotta do today. So the puppy is on the mend from her surgery. She's doing much better, but she has having some stomach issues. She probably ate something that didn't agree with her, so she's a little bit temperamental at points. But I do want to get up to page 260. That's my big goal before I head to work today, or head to, oh my god, yoga. So yeah, that is the plan. I want to finish reading this. I want to give you a more clear update. I also would like to pick an audiobook at some point today and start sort of focus on that. Yeah, there's just a lot on the agenda. So that is my plan. I'm going to talk to you guys when I accomplish some stuff, and we'll chat then. Bye, friends. Hey friends, I'm back. I just got back from running errands. I'm about to sit down and read. I filmed a little bit for you guys, so you guys will have videos this week. But all I want to do is sit down and read Nightbirds. That is all I want to do. So that is going to be the plan. I'm going to focus. When I read about 50 more pages, I will give you guys an update. Right now, I am on page 244. So when I read to page 300, we are going to chat. Bye, friends. Hey friends, I'm back. I did want to say that I did wind up getting up to page 300 in Nightbirds. I'm really liking this book. It's quite a bit. It has a lot of elements that I'm just thoroughly enjoying. I do say that I feel like because this art came out so early, I'm sure the book is going to tighten up a little bit. So my like minor things about like plot stuff and like pacing, I think will probably be fixed in later, like in like final edition. So I'm not really counting that because I feel like some of the stuff is a little bit clunky. But also I know that this arc doesn't come out until February, so there will be opportunities for a lot of changes, which I hope, because I like there's some things that just aren't as clear as I would like them to be. But that notwithstanding, I think it's, first of all, I think it's ingenious how they decided to sort of pitch their books together, because in theory you would think that they really have nothing to do with each other other than they're sort of set in the 1920s. But as you dive into this book, I see so many connections between this book and Amy Kaufman's book as well, so I just think that that's really interesting. There is a specific moment in this book that reminds me a ton of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's a weird reference, and I'm just really enjoying it. I just love the 3 main characters that we get in the story because they're so different, and I like that, and I just think that there is a lot happening in the story. I'm also really liking the little the sort of vignettes between the chapters, because in one way they like develop the world and they give you a lot of context, and then in the other part of these vignettes you sort of see outside of your character's experiences, so you sort of see what's happening in like other parts of the book and other characters' point of views, especially in reference to the you know, the bigger plot, which I'm just loving. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys another update when I get to page 50. I will probably give you an update about Cassie. She's in the other room, she's sleeping. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Right now I would say it's probably like a 4.5 star read for me. I'm definitely gonna reread this come May when I have Amy Kaufman's, because I'll probably read them together. But yeah, really liking it, and I will give you guys an update when I read about 50 more pages. Bye friends! Hey friends, I'm back. I did wind up going for a small walk with the puppy. She's over there, she's sleeping, thankfully. I wound up listening to a little bit more of Swish and Flick, which is a Harry Potter podcast that I'm doing like a 3-time reread. I'm rereading the Harry Potter series, and then I'm listening to 3 different podcasts as they reread it. So really fun experience. I love these creators, and I am happy to be supporting them. And yeah, I know people have very, very mixed feelings about J.K. Rowling. Obviously, we all do. But I've been following these creators for so long. I just want to keep following them. And they're doing a reread, and I'm going to support them and look through, reread the series with a bit more of a discerning eye. My battery's about to die. But I did wind up getting up to page 356 in Nightbirds. This book is getting really, really compelling. A very, very quick read. A lot of twists and turns happen that I didn't necessarily see coming, but I'm loving it. We're at the tail end of this story, which I'm really loving. I have about 100 pages left. My goal is to finish this tonight. I bought Dream Valley from Switch, and I want to focus on that tonight as well, but I'm really, really loving it. The characters are all in such different locations now. I feel like the story is really picking up. And yeah, I'm gonna go charge my battery, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. Well, I made myself a reading spot, and then Cassie stole it. So, yeah, that was my reading spot. Now I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to read. She is really cute, though. Hey friends, I'm back for another update. I did wind up getting up to page 400 in Nightbirds by KJ Armstrong. I'm really, really liking it. We're getting to the point where like a lot of stuff is like coming together, and I am really curious to see how this story wraps up. I think this book has a lot going for it. I think it's also a really rich world, and I think that is why the pacing in this book is just a bit off. And I'm reading this book like 5 months early, so I am definitely going to make it a priority to reread this book in 2023 when it comes out and compare and contrast my reading experiences. Right now, it's going to be like a 4.5 star read. I think the pacing and some of the elements are really, really like just a little bit clunky. It may be because it's her first book. It may be because it's an arc and that stuff has just like not got tightened, but it is a super rich world, and there's a lot conversations in this book that I think really resonate with me. Like I tabbed the hell out of this book with so many quotes and stuff like that, but I just love all the characters. I think their backgrounds are really different as well. There also is a lot of like romantic diversity in this story as well, which I like, and I'm just really enjoying it. I really like Kate's writing. She, if you don't know, she has a different podcast that's called The Exploress, where she kind of like takes you into like everyday women's lives in like all these time periods, so that's really compelling. The magic system in this book is definitely not what I was expecting going in. I think it changed a little bit, but obviously like that's cool. Like I'm loving it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm probably going to give you like one more update when I get to 450. Hopefully that will be tonight, but I'm going to like get ready for bed, not get ready for bed, but like organize myself, make sure I'm all ready to go to bed. And yeah, I will talk to you guys for a little bit, but so far, I'm going to say this book is definitely going to be like at least a 4.5 star read. I think in 2023, when I reread it, will probably be a 5 star read for me, but I'm loving it. I'm probably going to give it 5 on Goodreads right now, but probably around like 4.5 just for the clunkiness of the writing right now. But again, I don't want to like judge it harshly because this is an arc and I know stuff can change. It's changed before. So I'm going to go read a little bit more, and when I have another update, I will give it to you guys. Bye. Hey friends, I'm back. So late last night, well not really late, but late for me, I finished Nightbirds by KJ Armstrong. As you can see, I tabbed the hell out of this book. I loved it. I will say that I gave this book 5 stars on Goodreads because I feel like because it comes out in February, there will be some moments for some editing to occur. I will say that the writing style felt a little bit clunky and a little bit like it needed just one more polish, but I really enjoyed it. So I gave it 5 stars. I'm going to reread it in late 2023 when Amy Kaufman's book came out so I could do a reading vlog about it. But I loved it. This book had so many twists and turns, a lot of elements to this story. It's a very, very rich world. So I always say a first book in a series, I always am a little bit more generous with because there is a lot to set up. This world is really unique and really, really different. And it had a lot of twists and turns, a lot of characters, and I loved it. I think that it's just a very, very rich story with a lot of elements coming together. And when you write a book like that, you need to take your time. And I felt like the 400 pages for this book, it flew by. It took me about a whole week to read it because I was having a really, really bad focus week, but I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. Really excited to reread it. And I hope Kate and Amy come to the USA to tour because I would love to meet them both because their podcast definitely keeps me busy when I'm doing grading, which is a feat in and itself. So I'm also picked back up All Night with a Good Duke by Amy Rose Bennett, which is my historical audiobook that I'm in the middle of reading. I started reading that during Comic-Con and I put it down. So what I think I'm going to pick up, and I'll try to attach a picture at some point of both these books. So my audiobook right now is Up All Night with a Good Duke, and my audio and my physical book, my ebook, is going to be How to Survive Your Own Murder, which is like a murder mystery crime read. It's only 300 pages. I read a little bit the last day of Comic-Con and then I picked up this bad boy, so I feel like I got a little bit lost in the details. So yeah, I'm gonna go restart that. I'm gonna make my way through my Netflix queue today and my YouTube queue because it's a lot. I got myself a little bit farther behind than I would like. So yeah, that is my plan. I don't know if I'm going to film a mid-month wrap-up because I've only read 4 books and that just happens for Comic-Con. I'm also going away next month, so we will see. But I'm going to go input this footage so I know how long my vlog is, and then when I make a bit more progress on How to Survive Your Own Murder, I will give you guys an update. Bye, friends. Friends, I am back. I did wind up reading to 26% in, so now I feel like I could chat about this book. I started this when I was at Comic-Con. So you basically follow this main character named Alice, and she is a true crime horror movie buff. And the book starts off with her, it's Halloween night. She's hanging out with her friends. They're planning to start a podcast that sort of is a deep dive into the horror genre, which I think is really, really unique. I love books about podcasts. That's like one of my favorite tropes in YA books. I really, really enjoy it. But that night, instead of she has a very interesting relationship with her sister. Her sister's name is Claire. Claire is sort of the perfect girl, like the ideal girl. Like everyone likes Claire. She's her favorite. She is trying to convince her sister to go into a haunted house with her or a haunted corn maze with her. And her sister declines, and then Claire is murdered. And then you jump forward a year and you sort of see the aftermath of how Alice is sort of dealing with it, how her friends have subsequently started this podcast, and now the episode has reached her sister's case. She has a lot of mixed feelings about that. And also the trial for her sister's murderer is about to begin. So a lot is happening with Alice. It's a very grief-focused story, but I am enjoying it. It's very, very quick, very, very fast-paced. This is the same author that wrote, it was like, I can't remember the name of it, but her name's Daniela Valenti, which is she's like a pen name. And this is like those books were horror. It was like, they were trying to kill a girl. It was very, very horrific. This one I'm liking a little bit more. There is like an element that was spoiled in the summary, but it hasn't occurred yet, so I don't know if I'm going to spoil it. But if you read the summary, you guys will know what it is. But that moment hasn't happened yet, and I hate when they do that with plot points because then I'm just waiting for that to happen. So summary notwithstanding, I'm 25% in and an element hasn't happened. So we will see how that goes. I am liking it. I think the story is very, very like soaked in grief. A lot of it. It's a lot of like, you know, she's dealing with that. She's also dealing with the murder trial. She has to be the witness because she was the one that saw her sister killed, which is horrible. So yeah, I'm gonna go read a little bit more and I'll update you guys when I read about 25% more, unless something like big happens and I need to trick you. Maybe like I'll read like about 5 more chapters and I'll give you guys an update. But I'm enjoying it. It's a very, very quick writing style, which is really what I'm looking for this week because, again, whenever I come back from Comic-Con, my focus is a little bit wonky. So I'm gonna go read a little bit more and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye, friends. Hey, friends, I'm back. It's much later. I took the puppy for a walk. She is now sleeping. She's over there. If she pops up in here and comes to my room, I'll show you guys a clip. She's getting so big. She is 6 months old, so she's getting big. She's very, very cute, though. A little bit troublesome. But I did want to say that I did wind up getting 50% into How to Survive Your Own Murder. So, I don't like horror movies. The last horror book-ish I read that was like real straight up horror was Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I don't like slasher movies. I've watched a couple because my cousins forced me when I was younger. This really is reading that way, but it is interesting. Like, I'm compelling. I'm going to definitely finish it. I'll probably finish it today. The problem I have with slasher movies and like with horror stuff, I don't feel connected to the characters. And I'm very much a character-led reader. So if the plot is fast and all that stuff is really, really entertaining, I will probably keep reading it. But I don't feel connected to the characters. The one thing that's interested here is there's like a blast from the past element. Like she's going back in time because her sister was murdered by this serial killer. And then, you know, she's trying to protect her sister. So that's like an interesting element. I'm about 50% into it. There's a lot about like the truth, like what happened this night, what really happened. Did this person who's on trial for her murder really, really kill her? Did you see what you really, really think you saw? So I'm intrigued by that. I'm definitely going to finish it. I'm going to go read another like 25% and then I'll give you guys another update. I'm liking it. I think the time travel element is interesting. And I'm intrigued, but I think if you love horror movies, you'll probably love it. Right now, it's probably going to be like a 3-star read for me, but that's okay. I'm still enjoying it. It's a fun time. So I'm going to go back to reading and I'll update you guys when I've read a bit more. Bye, friends. Hey, friends, I'm back. So I am here to give a small update on How to Survive Your Murder, which I'm 70% in, so I have about an hour, 2 hours left of it. I should probably be able to finish it tonight. The one thing I sometimes struggle with horror movies is I don't ever feel connected to the characters. The only horror movie that I've ever watched that I felt connected to the characters was The Quiet Place, with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. The only movie. So I sometimes read these books and I'm just like, these characters are a little bit two-dimensional and they just don't wow me. The one thing I like about this book, it is very, very sister focused because the main character, Alice, really needs to try to save her sister because her sister in a previous storyline or like she basically has gone back in time through some means, and the previous timeline her sister has died by the serial killer, and in this storyline her sister is still alive, so she's working with her sister to try to stop these murders, but no one other than her knows she's in a different timeline. So it's a little bit complicated. I know that like this author wrote the Merciless series and she had another like supernatural element to that story that was like about like covens and sacrifices and stuff like that. So I never picked up on that because it was too horror and people says it was very, very creepy and I don't do creepy. But this is definitely more slasher. It does remind me of There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins, and I didn't love that book and then I didn't pick up her other horror stuff. So I have about an hour and 2 hours left. My goal is to make some progress on this and then to figure out the next week of my reading life because I really don't know what I want to read. I know I want to read some quick books. I know that a boss battle is supposed to drop for the Avengers Reading Challenge and I'm just waiting for that. So I'm going to try to pick up some quicker things that I can tackle that are all fall. I really haven't read fall books yet. Like I read a few at the start of the month and then Nightbird took me a week, so which I loved. But not really witchy, more magic-y. So I'm going to go read until I get to like 80% and then I'll give you guys an update. Bye, friends. Hey, friends, I'm back. I have about 10%, 20% left in How to Survive Your Own Murder. I'm enjoying it. I think it's playing into a lot of tropes that like are horror themed, I'm sure. I'm liking it. It's a fun read. It's a quick read. We're at like the final point where I think the killer is going to be revealed. It has had a lot of like deviating plot points this whole book, but again, I don't really feel connected to anyone. There was one like death scene that I felt a little bit attachment to, so that was something that got me sort of towards the very, very end. I like that the heart of the novel is focused on these two sisters' relationships. I also like that like the whole thing is like she's trying to save her sister frantically because her sister died. But who are you damning in the process? Like if you save all these people, like it's like the train problem. Like, you know, if you like do one thing, 100 people die. If you do another thing, one person dies. You know, all that other stuff. So it's just very, very interesting how the story is progressing, and I'm curious to see who the killer is and also how it all gets resolved, because there is like a fantastical time traveling element to it. But sometimes when I read thrillers like this, it's always said it's always not really time travel. So I'll be curious how that is wrapped up. Right now it's probably going to be like a 3-star read for me. I'll see if that changes towards the very, very end. I'm going to have one more update for you when I wrap up this book and give my final thoughts. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys for that update. If it's not going to be tonight, it's going to be tomorrow. But I'm really hoping it will be tonight so I could start my next reading vlog and start this week fresh. Bye, friends. Well, friends, I'm back to chat about How to Survive Your Own Murder. I have to admit, it surprised me. I think I'm probably gonna give it 4 stars for review just because the ending was so shocking and like it left on like a massive cliffhanger. So I don't know if we're gonna get a book 2. I wouldn't be shocked if we did because I know she does write series. It was a really twisty, turny story. I think I should have listened to it because I think it would have read more as like a TV show or like a book, like a movie. But I at the end was really, really action packed. I really hope we get a second book because like the way it left off on like a cliffhanger, like I'm like, oh, well, what's gonna happen now? So I'm intrigued. It was good. It was a very, very fast paced story. I just didn't feel a whole lot of connection to the characters until the very, very end. The last twist I did not see coming, I will tell you that. So that's probably why I bumped it up to a 4. So yeah, so for this reading vlog, I was playing a little bit of catch up. I finished Nightbirds by KJ Armstrong, which I gave 5 stars to, and I finished How to Survive Your Own Murder, which I will attach a photo here, which I gave 4 stars to. This was like my catch up reading vlog because I was in the middle of a couple of books. And now I'm going to go start my next reading vlog, and I'll see you guys all there. Tell me in the comments what are some fall reads you've tackled soon, and I'll talk to you guys for my next video. Bye, friends.